I'm making this video to counter some of the ignorance that American people have in their minds about Colombia. This is Eddie on the Go. Six weeks down, 7 weeks to go. I'm almost at the halfway point of my stay here in Colombia. So far, living here in Barranquilla has been an amazing experience. I've met some incredible people, eaten some amazing food, and just it's all around been amazing. I hate to overuse the word amazing, but there you go. The people here have been incredible, very helpful, very kind. Will sometimes go out of their way to help you just to help you. They are just some of the nicest people you would ever want to know and be with. A lot of people in the more developed Western countries could learn a thing or two from Colombians. It's sad that our Western culture has devolved into something more self-centered and toxic than it used to be. But it's refreshing to come to a country like this and experience life among such kind and wonderful people. The people here are very kind and curious about foreigners, just as I am about their culture and everything surrounding it. I've enjoyed my interactions with people here, and I would enjoy it even more if I didn't have such a limited amount of Spanish at my disposal, and plus the Costeño accent is like a foreign language. The Costeño dialect is very hard to understand, and it kind of reminds me of trying to carry on a conversation with a Cajun from Louisiana. It's very difficult because they have their own slang, their own way of speaking, and of course a heavy accent. The food here. My friend Chinedu spoke in one of our parts of our interview where, you know, he's West African, and to him, the comida típica, the basic food that a lot of the people eat, is bland to him. But I enjoy it. I like a lot of different kinds of food. Chinedu is of West African origin. He's Nigerian by birth, and their food is very spicy. It's more in line with like Indian food and Thai food and stuff like that. That's, you know, very strong spicy flavors, and I like all of it. I like everything, but the food here has been an experience. One of the things I love about the regional foods in like Panama and everywhere around the Caribbean is the African influence. The Afro-Caribbean cuisines are one of my favorites. All those coconut and criollo type of sauces, and it's something I like to dip my patacones in, which, you know, I mean, that's a bland, flavorless thing on its own, but it's like a tortilla. You know, you get to add different flavors to that, what's essentially like a bread. So as an American of Luso-Hispanic descent, I've come to know many different cuisines, and I love pretty much all of them. I love to eat. You could consider me a foodie, and I very much like almost everything I've ever tried. I recognize the fact that if it wasn't for the influences of Asian, both East Asian and West Asian, like India and the surrounding region, and that of Africa, European foods would be boring. Can you imagine Italian without the spices and tomatoes and other things that came from the Western Hemisphere? Yeah, food culture has been spread around the world as much as people have. It's a worldwide melting pot of flavor and culture. But the creativity in standard American type food here is amazing. Food like the hamburger, it's elevated the art beyond, you know, way beyond McDonald's. Here in Colombia, they have like a national competition of burger restaurants, and they've got some really amazing burgers with sauces of chimichurri, and they'll have breaded Munster cheese, just all kinds of really cool creative things that they do with the hamburger. They're very artistic with their cuisine here. Now you're not going to see supersized fries or, you know, big huge burgers. The burgers are smaller, but that's pretty much how it is in this country for the most part. You don't see obesity on the level of the United States. People are a lot more fit and trim. Their national burger competition is called Burger Master, and I've tried no less than 5 different burgers, and they're all delicious. I would have a hard time deciding which was my favorite, but although there might be 2 of them that are close to a tie. Aside from the European, Caucasian, and the indigenous and other mixed peoples of Colombia, there is also the vast number of descendants of people from the Middle East that migrated here at different points in the 20th century, and you will find many Lebanese and Syrian restaurants here, and there are also a lot of Jews too. I have yet to try any of the Arab food, I have yet to try any of the Arab restaurants here, but my Airbnb host told me that they're really, really good. It's some of the best food she's eaten. She's from Medellin. I have yet to visit any of the beaches here, but one Sunday coming soon, I am taking my friend Lisa to Playa Mendoza, which is her favorite beach. She said it's less crowded than Puerto Colombia or Santa Marta. So I am looking forward to that. Maybe while we are having cocktails under an umbrella in the shade, I can talk her into doing an interview. If you're watching this, what do you say, Lisa? Are you game? On the subject of security, there are people who I have talked to who, you know, they believe everything that they hear from the U.S. State Department and TV shows and stuff like that about Colombia being dangerous. Hey, there are places that are dangerous everywhere in the United States. You can go to San Francisco, LA, Chicago, even your own hometown, and you can be a victim of crime. But here in Barranquilla, unless you go to the south, I've been walking around at night, not had a problem. Not had a problem. But here in the northern part of Barranquilla, things are safe. I can walk around at night, not have a problem. I can walk over a mile from a restaurant and not have any problems. Everything's like perfectly safe, like I'm in my own rural neighborhood back home. And really the only exception I've had was in the area of the Plaza de San Nicolas, where there were a lot of homeless Venezuelans, and as I mentioned in a previous video, the woman who had breath that smelled like a dumpster, who was begging me for money, demanding money of me, claiming she was pregnant and wanted money for food. And when I told her I gave the last of my cash, my en efectivo, to the church collection basket, she got all irate and, started going off on me until I finally left, until the church cleaned out so I could, come back later and record the inside of the church when it was empty. But yeah, it's a very safe environment. That was the only problem I had in the way of security. Plus, at a restaurant, there was a guy walking by that was probably homeless too, who was eyeballing my GoPro, and the owner chased him off. Other than that, perfect, great experience. For real, I'm not trying to go to Soledad in the south. That'd be going south central Los Angeles or the tenderloin, or pretty much these days anywhere in San Francisco, but you get the idea. In closing, I'd like to tell my viewers that my experience here has been nothing short of, overused word alert, amazing. The people, the food, everything. Very enjoyable. I highly recommend Colombia, especially Barranquilla. I'm making this video to counter some of the ignorance that American people have in their minds about Colombia, and ask them to give it a chance and come here for yourself. And I think you'll be glad you did. Just don't go somewhere like Medellin or Cartagena and take part in the sex tourism or drugs or anything like that, or you may just find yourself a victim of crime if that's what you're asking for. As the Colombians say, no dar papaya, don't make yourself an easy victim, and you'll be okay. Otherwise, don't heed my advice, and you might find yourself a victim of scopolamine, wake up 3 days later and all your property is gone, and that's the end of the story for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and like and subscribe and click that notification bell. Eddie on the go.